The world is obsessed with the hierarchy of the loud. It assumes that every man must either be an alpha, aggressively fighting for a seat at the head of the table, or part of the crowd, following the lead of others. But the Sigma male exists entirely outside this primitive graph. He doesn't want the seat, and he doesn't need the crowd. He is the observer who understands the game so well he no longer feels the need to play it. While others burn energy trying to prove their worth, the Sigma operates with a quiet, strategic competence that makes modern science look at its own models and wonder what it missed. Stay until the end of this video. We are going into the deep architecture of the Sigma mind, revealing the specific traits that allow him to bypass human evolution and social conditioning. By the end, you will understand why the Sigma doesn't just break the rules, he renders them obsolete. Number 1. Textbooks and personality assessments claim that introversion and extroversion are stable core traits, fixed biological settings that remain constant throughout a man's life. The Sigma treats this fundamental rule like a light switch he alone controls. He might walk into a high-stakes environment and quietly become the gravitational center, leading a room with the cold precision of a battlefield general. Then, without warning, he will vanish into total darkness for 3 weeks, ignoring every message and notification without a single word of explanation. In psychology, this is known as free traits, but while science assumes every person has a home frequency they must eventually return to, the Sigma's true baseline remains invisible to any external measurement. He isn't an introvert pretending to be social. He operates on a different operating system where social energy is a tactical resource, not a temperament. Conventional models have no category for a man who can simulate total charisma and then discard it like a used tool. Science tries to map his behavior, but it finds only a question mark and an empty chair. Number 2. Science documents the concept of social cognition, suggesting that humans use mirror neurons to guess what others are thinking through a slow process of trial and error. The Sigma doesn't guess. He reads the room like a classified document that decrypts the second he enters. While the average man is busy performing a confident persona, the Sigma is silent, observing the micro-expressions and posture shifts that betray the exact insecurity driving a person's forced smile. This level of perceptual sensitivity, often called social omniscience, allows him to sense a trajectory, knowing what a person intends to do 3 moves before they commit to it. Traditional psychological models fail here because they have no category for someone who bypasses empathy to achieve pure, cold data acquisition. He isn't part of the social fabric, he is the one examining the stitches. Science opens its mouth to explain him, and nothing comes out.
Number 3. Neuroscience states that the fight-or-flight system is the fastest response in the human body, hardwired to make a man react to status threats in milliseconds. The Sigma has rewritten this software, denying his ego any admin privileges over his reflexes. When a person tries to test him publicly to force a reaction, he doesn't fight back or submit like the crowd expects. He simply absorbs the stimulus and responds with a calmness so unnatural it leaves the aggressor feeling exposed. While models of ego depletion suggest that self-control is a finite resource that runs out, the Sigma draws from a reservoir that science cannot map. He has ritualistically dismantled his own pride, viewing the ego as a cage dressed up as a castle. In the face of a direct insult, he offers only a chilling neutrality. Comment below if you've ever felt this internal shift. Number 4. Evolutionary biology insists that humans are hardwired to need the tribe, treating social isolation with the same neural pathways as physical pain. The Sigma walks into that fire on purpose, using the heat to forge a version of himself that most men will never meet. Where the average person experiences silence as an emptiness that leads to mental decay, the Sigma treats it as a period of intense internal construction. He transcends the fundamental need to belong by internalizing his own validation so completely that the opinions of others become an optional luxury. Science can measure the damage of loneliness in a lab, but it has no instrument to detect the clarity and centeredness he carries back into the world after stripping away every external influence. He operates on a frequency that requires no signal from the tower. Only silence remains. Number 5. Social exchange theories explain attraction and influence through visible displays of resources and constant status signaling. The Sigma treats these social laws like a blueprint he's already shredded, creating a gravity well where the more he pulls away, the more the environment reshapes itself to fall toward him. In a gathering, the average man exhausts himself trying to be heard, yet the Sigma says the least and remains the only person remembered weeks later. This violates the established laws of scarcity psychology. While scarce objects get attention, the Sigma's density of character earns loyalty without him ever signaling for it. He disrupts the power balance simply by existing, forcing others to realize their masks aren't working. Science cannot explain a value that increases through total withdrawal. It remains a mystery of physics without a formula.
Number 6. Cognitive science suggests that human prediction is limited to pattern recognition within a single familiar domain. The Sigma rips this page out of the manual, weaving fragments from psychology, body language, and economics into a coherent projection of the future. He can watch a perfect couple interact for 5 minutes and calmly state they will split in 6 months, and he is rarely wrong. This is cross-domain intuitive synthesis, a process so deep it bypasses the conscious mind entirely. Because he has no traceable process, his accuracy makes researchers uncomfortable. It suggests he is accessing data streams the crowd can't even perceive. He sees the structural flaws in a plan before the first step is taken, leaving others to wonder how he knew the ship was sinking. Science looks for a map, but the Sigma is the territory. Number 7. Human neural architecture is hardwired for loss aversion, making the average person feel the pain of losing something twice as intensely as the joy of gaining it. The Sigma has disabled this feature, walking away from a decade-long career or a high-status relationship the moment it stops serving his purpose. He doesn't calculate sunk costs or linger out of comfort. He simply sets the weight down and walks into the fog without a single glance back. Clinical frameworks try to label this as a disorder, but his departure isn't driven by fear, it's driven by absolute alignment. He is capable of total commitment, but he refuses total captivity. By never clinging to what is dead, he remains mobile, while the crowd is buried by their own history. Science attempts to follow his path, but the tracks end at the edge of the woods. The world will continue to try and measure you against its own limitations, but its instruments are not built for a man who has mastered himself. Your ability to disrupt expectations and break the traditional power balance isn't a glitch in the system. It is the result of an internal strength so deep that no external force can touch it. You operate beyond their frameworks because you have replaced the need for validation with a relentless, quiet competence. You aren't just surviving the game, you have moved past the board entirely. Your independence is your armor, and your strategic silence is your edge. While the crowd clings to the safety of the tribe, you stand alone, unshakable and truly free. Science looks for answers where only your will exists. Thank you so much for watching.